Thank you for participating in today's webinar. The Universal Peace Federation, UPF, is an international and interreligious network of individuals and organizations. It is dedicated to achieving world peace. As an NGO in general consultative status with the Economic and Social Council of the United Nations, UPF supports the work of the United Nations, particularly in the area of interfaith peace building, peace education, and the strengthening of marriage and family. UPF founders Dr. Samyang Moon and Dr. Hakjahan Moon have dedicated their life to fostering global harmony and understanding, tirelessly advocating for peace and reconciliation. Their vision extends beyond mere rhetoric, as they have actively engaged in humanitarian efforts addressing issues such as poverty, conflict resolution, and sustainable development for the greater good of humanity. The International Media Association for Peace, IMAP, is an association under UPF founded in 2020. IMAP represents a worldwide professional network of journalists who support a socially responsible and moral media. IMAP recognizes the vital role of journalists, the vital role that they play in supporting the expansion of freedom to address the challenges of our times based on the highest principles of ethical journalism and universal values as keys to a world of peace. On today's webinar, we'll be discussing the topic, Healthy Families for a Peaceful World, Why Sexual Integrity Matters. We all desire for our youth to lead healthy and meaningful lives, grow up to create strong marriages and families, and to cultivate children of their own. Yet in our current world, they unfortunately first must learn to navigate a culture that sexualizes children and is a veritable minefield of readily accessible porn. In this webinar, we will learn about some of the tools created by amazing people with decades of experience in the field of educating youth and adults about healthy sex, free from porn, and building healthy, radiant marriages. I would like to introduce our moderator for today's webinar. Pierre Beauregard joins us today from Canada. He earned a degree in business administration at Études Commerciales in Montreal and holds a master's degree in religious education from the Unification Theological Seminary in New York. Pierre has enjoyed a 20-year career as a certified financial planner with the Desjardins Group in Montreal, where he currently resides with his wife and son. In 2016, Pierre trained as a sexual integrity mentor with Micah Leahy of Brave Hearts Ministry. And since 2017, he volunteers as a sexual integrity facilitator with High Noon International. He has served as Canadian coordinator for IMAP since 2018. Please help me welcome Pierre using the international sign languages for applaud. Pierre, welcome.
Thank you very much, Ray. Ray, what am I saying? Hans. Ray is the other part of our team who's here with us today. So I wanted to start by quoting our founder, Reverend Moon, and at a World Media Conference in January 15th, 2001 in Tokyo. He said the following: in the 21st century, humanity will face problems that are more fundamental and in some ways even more dangerous than those of the Cold War era. These problems will no longer involve confrontation between East and West. Instead, there will be a worldwide conflict of values. In short, there will be a global war between morality and immorality. So today, we have fighters in this war, three wonderful speakers. And in order to succeed in winning this war, we have to have a really very clear vision. And that's what we want to give you. And also learn from those who have fought in the trenches of this very significant and important war. So our three panelists will share their insights. Then we're going to have a Q&A. So please don't hesitate to put your questions in the chat. We have two speakers that hail from the Philippines, so we're very grateful that they are up at 3 a.m. December 27th with us. Our first speaker, Robert Kittel. Robert Kittel currently serves as Senior Advisor for Mother Moon's Foundation in the Asia-Pacific region. He is also the co-chair for Universal Peace Federation and its Director of Education. Dr. Kittel received his doctoral degree from the University of Bridgeport in Connecticut, USA in 2004, specializing in family values-based character education for adolescents. He has published 14 books, articles, curricula, and in-depth research papers, along with being a photojournalist with stories running in 7 international publications. He has lived in Asia since 1975. Currently, he and his wife, Teresa, live in Manila, Philippines. They are loving parents to 2 daughters and have 2 beautiful grandchildren. His topic today is sexual responsibility and patriotism. Dr. Kittel, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Pierre. And Merry Christmas. I'm in the Philippines. We have been celebrating Christmas since September. So it's a wonderful place to be here. They have trees up, no snow, but they've got the lights in the trees and the music going on in the malls when we were there. So grateful to be here. Also, I am the IMAP representative for the Asia Pacific region, since this program is sponsored by the IMAP Association of the Universal Peace Federation. So let me begin. We don't have a lot of time, but we have many things to share. I want to do the other way. Sorry. Right. Okay, our topic today is healthy families for a peaceful world. Why sexual integrity matters. Greetings to co-panelists and the moderator, Blessie, David, Mitsui, and Pierre. Thank you for being here, and the audience as well. We're grateful that we can share some things with you together. My topic, as mentioned, sexual responsibility and patriotism. Here in the Philippines, a few years ago, during COVID, in the midst of COVID, we had a national tour called the Regional Youth Forums, and the topic was the role of patriotic youth in nation building. And in this program, we partnered with 4 government agencies: the National Youth Commission, which is the organization that really brings together the youth leaders of the country throughout the 14,000 barangay or precinct districts in the country. We worked with the National Security Council in charge of the police, the army, military, like that. The NTF-LCAC, the National Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict, because we were working on university campuses to help end the deceitful recruitment of communism, and the DILG, the Department of Interior for local government. The program ran from May to November. We had 17 regions, 26,000 youth that were there. It was a 2-day program on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So we were happy to have nearly 7,000 graduates from that program. Who is a patriot? Who is a patriot? Well, the dictionary definition from Oxford says a person who is prepared to defend their country against enemies. Great. So in the Philippine Constitution, I thought, well, let's look it up, the word patriot, patriotic, or patriotism. And there were 6 times it was mentioned in the Constitution, because this is the bedrock definition for the country that we are in, is your Constitution. So it says a patriot, they are involved in public and civic affairs. A patriot will promote liberation and development. A patriot will serve with utmost
responsibility and loyalty. They are entrusted with the monetary authority and known for honesty, probity, and integrity. They possess self-discipline by embodying in their character ethical and spiritual values. And here at the very end, it talks about strengthening the national conscience of the military and respect for the rights of people. So the one area, there's actually one of the 6 definitions talks about patriotism in terms of the military. The others are, I'm going, wow, that's interesting. So there are 2 types of patriots. One, to defend against the external threat. That might be a military invasion or a natural disaster. And those are the military, the police, the first responders. They're in that category. Then the question arises, what are the other threats of a country? And who are the patriots that defend us against those other threats? Well, here is one in the business world earlier this year, an article entitled Philippine Counts the Cost of Teen Pregnancy. Adolescent pregnancy is not only a health and education problem, but also an economic issue. Wow. The Philippines is estimated to lose 33 billion pesos, $600 billion a year due to teen pregnancy. The government considers this a national priority. So this is a threat. It's an emergency. And it's not only present day, historically, it's the same thing. Well, first we can learn free sex is not free. Somebody put a price tag on it, $600 million. The second thing we can learn is sex is more than just a private matter between consenting individuals. There's a public consequence to when sex is misused. But sex is also a historical problem. Arnold Toynbee, a British historian, said that out of the 21 civilizations, 19 perished, not by conquest from outside, but by moral decay within. So that means the internal threat is something invisible. It's the breakdown of the family. And with that comes the rise of crime and corruption. So who is the patriot? Wow, we all are. The family institution is a patriotic institution as important as the military. One definition in the Constitution of the Philippines referred to the military. 5 definitions referred to other definitions of patriotism. So everyone can agree that the soldiers are patriotic. They're willing to die for their country. But the Philippine Constitution, and I'm sure it's similar in other constitutions, says that everyone should be a patriot. Everyone. Politicians, businessmen, religious leaders, teachers, youth and students should be patriots willing to promote and defend the institution of the family. So a patriot, well, they are trained well, they're educated, their obedience is a high priority, they have role models and heroes of their nation, and they're willing to sacrifice. Well, what about the family as a patriotic institution, raising patriotic individuals? Well, shouldn't they also be trained and educated? Shouldn't there be obedience and standards set? Shouldn't we have role models, parents and elders, religious leaders? Everyone should be a role model and a willingness to sacrifice. So there's some sacrifice involved in maintaining the family. Yes, there is. So we teach people, before you say I do, learn to say I don't. Because after you say I do, you still have to say I don't to everyone else. So more importantly is why. Why should someone, why should someone keep the integrity of sexuality, basically abstinence, prior to marriage? Here in the Philippines, dominantly Christian country, I really like this verse of Genesis 2:24. A man will leave his father and mother, cleave to his wife, the two will become one flesh. This is important because Jesus quotes this passage. It's twice in the Gospels and once in the letters, so 3 times in the New Testament. In Matthew 19, Jesus links Genesis 1:27, and I will explain, with Genesis 2:24. This is what he says. Jesus said in reply, have you not read that from the beginning the Creator made them male and female? This is Genesis 1:27, part B. And then he goes on to quote Genesis 2:24. A man will leave his father and mother, cleave to his wife, and the two will become one flesh. Let's look at this Genesis 1:27 just momentarily. It talks about us being made in the image of God. God created man in the image of God. And then it says male and female, he created them. So Genesis 1:27 part A before the semicolon, and there's a Genesis 1:27 part B after the semicolon. The first one talks about the individuals. We are made in the image of God individually, and we know that is true. And it's a very powerful, statement. It brought the Magna Carta and the end of slavery, and is the foundation for the United Nations Human Rights Declaration. But Jesus quotes the second part, male and female, and he links it to 2:24. So we know that this is a different meaning. It's something that man and woman. The question is, why? Well, if we are made in the image of God individually, that's true. Each of us, no matter what, are made in the image of God individually. And that's Genesis 1:27 part A. But Jesus quotes the second part, a man and woman together. They're also in the image of God. Well, a man is more of a man, more in the image of God when he gets married. He can be a husband and a father. A woman is more of a woman, more in the image of God when she's married. She can be a wife and a mother. So, wow, it makes sense. So are we created in the image of God individually, or
Yes,
in
we
the
are.
image of God together as husband and wife? The answer is yes, both. And that's the point. So let's look a little bit at this very quickly. 3 parts. Leave your father and mother. We call this leave, cleave, and conceive. And Jesus connects it together. To leave doesn't mean to separate, which is the way most biblical studies have interpreted it. A baby leaves the womb, and we call it a birth. A student leaves the alma mater, and it's called a graduation. So to leave means to be born from the womb of the parental love, fatherly love and motherly love. So to leave means to graduate, to prepare for marriage. And Jesus made that linkage. So Jesus is highlighting the love of a two-parent family as ideal for raising children. Next, the husband cleaves to his wife. Again, Jesus links this to 1:27. It means that we cleave to each other. Man cleaves to his wife. The word cleave is both a vertical dimension because it's used in a covenantal relationship to God, and cleave means the strong, unbreakable bond that is together between a husband and wife. So it has a vertical and horizontal dimension. We cleave together to be in the image of God. The two become one flesh. Well, that means Jesus honors the sexual union because he made the connection between these two verses. Conjugal love of a man and woman is holy and sacred. So there are 3 types of human sexuality, 3 levels. One is pleasure and the other is procreation. Good enough. Animals do that. Animals have sex for pleasure and procreation. And if we don't understand the third or the highest purpose of human sexuality, we can just act like animals and feel fine about that. But from a biblical perspective, there's a covenantal relationship. We are made to be man and woman together in God's image, imago Dei. So the safe sex, there are 3 C's in safe sex. It's called condoms, contraceptives, and consent. Well, who are they defending? Themselves. So they are self-centered patriots. The biblical model that we just saw also has 3 C's. It actually has 5 C's. Commitment. You should be living with your parents, talking to your parents, communicating with your parents. Commitment and cleave together. I said communicate, yeah. And the third one is conceive children. Whoops, sorry, let me go back to that. Conceive children. So this study was done in America. I'm sure most of the audience is from America. And it talks about, first of all, the income levels of the 4 different ethnic groups in America: the Asians, the white, the Hispanics, and the blacks. And of course, the Asians earn the most, second are whites, third are Hispanics, and the blacks earn the less. And everybody might then kind of say, well, is this racist? Is there a prejudice going on here? But then the study correlates this with another statistic. the shared births of unwed mothers. So Asians, 11% of Asians are born out of wedlock, 28% of whites, 52%, and 70% of blacks are born out of wedlock. And if you put two together, there's a correlation of 1-to-1. The correlation coefficient is very, very strong. Why? Why is there such a strong correlation? In this book, The Case of Marriage, a married high school graduate in the United States earns as much on average as a never married college graduate. According to some estimates, getting a wife increases a man's salary by about as much as a college education. Why? We need to teach this to young people. A married man, he's more motivated. He is working, willing to sacrifice, to put bread on the table, put clothes on the backs of his children, education for his children. He's the unmarried man, I just want more money. Give me, give me, give me. The motivation is completely different. A married man won't go to work hungover, exhausted, or tidy. The unmarried man on the weekend, let's party and drink. The married man, well, no, I have responsibilities. I've got to mow the lawn and, fix the toilet and take the kids to the park. The married man will see a doctor sooner. Why? Because he has a wife and she will make the appointment and get him to the doctor. Married men will eat healthier, the same reasons. They've got a wife who cares for their health and is willing to invest because her connection is invested into his future as well. Married men, their spending and saving habits are different, but this is the real kicker. A married man will have more free time. So free time means more training. More training means that they will advance. So they may start off with a lower salary, but if you look at the lifetime of earning, the married man ends up earning more because he can advance within that job more readily. So here in the Philippines, we're trying to bring these education programs in the northern part of the Philippines. We have a member of the city council. He drafted an ordinance which has passed. So we have 1 million pesos a year that we can spend. And this is what it's spent on. They define the family. It is worth noting that the extensive peer-reviewed research across diverse cultures underscores the unparalleled benefit of a nurturing environment provided by the committed marriage of a child's biological parents. We're working with religious leaders. We had 60 pastors here a few months ago. We're teaching them. We're working with, they have a statement on marriage and family. We have women's leaders. There were 46 women's organizations. We're working with them here. And another program in the northern part of the Philippines, 130 participants, LGU or local government units, religious leaders, academic, youth, business. And so these are the programs. We had 39 elected youth leaders from this barangay. They are elected and paid and salaried. They are the youth leaders of the country, and in this case. So the elephant in the room. We've got to address the invisible threat, and we all need to have the patriotic spirit of willingness to sacrifice. Isaiah 32:3, then the eyes of those who see will no longer be closed, and the ears of those who hear will listen. Father Moon said this, family education determines the future destiny of the entire nation. Where there are many families living by the principle of public service, the nation will flourish. When there are many families living by the private standard, the nation will perish. We all need to become patriots. Thank you very much. Whoops. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Robert. Dr. Kittel. So you could fill the hour by yourself, obviously. It's quite a presentation. And yes, and so it was an amazing presentation, Dr. Kittel. I'd beg to know, if possible, can we figure out what is the cost for teen pregnancy in the USA? If it's 600 million for the Philippines, maybe it would wake up a few people to think about that. And also patriotism. The family is a patriotic institution. We have to defend the family. Beautiful. So now, in order to hear everyone, we're going to go straight to Blessie Belle Ramos. Blessie Belle Ramos is a dedicated educator and proud graduate of Don Mariano Marcos Memorial State University. It's a mouthful, isn't it? She holds a bachelor's of secondary education degree and a teaching certificate. It was while attending Sunwa International School during her formative years that she developed her passion for education. Blessie currently serves as a regional leader for the Family Federation for World Peace and Unification Philippines Region 1. Notably, she is the youngest and the first second-generation individual to achieve this position. Congratulations, Blessie. In May of this year, Blessie was blessed in marriage to Joel Yokoyama. He is a Filipino-Japanese. Her journey is a testament to her dedication, leadership, and the continuous pursuit of excellence in education and beyond. Her topic today is a case study based on Sunwa International Academy in the Philippines. Blessie, the floor is yours.
So thank you so much, Sir Pierre. If I'm sorry if I pronounce it wrong, and good day po to all our leaders, elders, brothers, and sisters. So if you hear me say po, it's one of a habit in the Philippines to address elderly people. So as a respect, even though if you're not elder like that. So if you hear me saying po, it's because I respect all of you. Yes po. And we are first I would like to give thanks to our Heavenly Parent and True Parents for this opportunity, of course, the invitation po of IMAP or this seminar or this workshop or this workshop that we are doing right now. So I'm really grateful po in to be part of the panelists and to the honorable panelists, and so I'm very much humbled po. So my presentation is actually a personal testimony of mine. So sorry if I'll be kind of groggy or something, because I just went in a 6-hour travel, so I just arrived and I haven't slept properly yet. But I will do my best to really share to you about the case study about Sunwa International Academy and how I relate this to my personal testimony. So yeah. So first, let me introduce myself. Again, I am Blessie Ramos. Yan. So in a world where chaos often prevails, I have been blessed to witness the serene beauty of pure love. It's an unwavering force, transcending boundaries and binding souls together. I've seen it in the tender gaze shared between two individuals, in the selfless acts of kindness, and in the quiet understanding that needs no words. Pure love is a beacon of hope, guiding us through life's storms, reminding us our shared humanity and illuminating the path to our truest selves. So good day, everyone. Today I stand before you to share a deep personal journey, a journey that revolves around the essence of purity in love and the profound beauty of waiting for the right person in the right time. So, in a world where instant gratification often takes precedence and where love is sometimes perceived as a race against time, we choose a different path. I choose to embrace the idea of purity and love, a concept that goes beyond the physical realm and that delves deep into the spiritual and emotional facets of connection. My decision to wait for the right person in the right time was not born out of fear or reservation, but out of a profound belief in the sanctity of love. And it was about preserving something pure and sacred amidst a world that sometimes treats love as fleeting and disposable. So this journey of waiting wasn't always easy. There were moments of doubt and loneliness, moments when society's expectations, especially now, clashed with my inner convictions. I questioned whether my decision to wait was hindering my chances of experiencing the love and companionship I longed for. But as time unfolded, I began to understand the true significance of waiting. It wasn't just about counting the days or months until love arrived. It was about self discovery. It was about exploring my own desires, understanding my values, and becoming the best version of myself to offer to another soul. Yeah. So, in the midst of this journey, I discovered the art of patience, a virtue often overshadowed in today's fast paced world. Patience taught me resilience, the strength to hold on to my beliefs even when the world around me urged otherwise. It taught me that waiting wasn't a passive state, but an active process of growth and self improvement. And through this waiting, I learned to value the essence of time,
Mrs.
the
Ramos,
importance of letting life
sorry to interrupt
un
you, Mrs. Ramos, but your
yes.
slides are not moving.
Ah, yes, it's just
Yeah.
my introduction.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
Because
Yeah, it's just my introduction.
okay, you have another,
Yes.
you have to,
But it's
you have
just
another
short
10
lang.
minutes. Okay,
Yes, yes, bro. My presentation is just 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
very good.
Yes. Yeah, it's about a testament to the universe. Yeah. Um, okay. Perfect timing, orchestrating encounters when we are truly ready. And then in a moment when I least expected it, when the stars aligned in their celestial dance, I met someone. So this is my spouse. So this is Joel Yokoyama Doclarero. Ayan. So someone whose soul resonated with mine, who is also second generation in Japan. Someone who shared similar values and dreams and the belief in the beauty of waiting. Our connection wasn't rushed. So as you can see here, we were officially matched around 2020 and we were blessed 2023. So it was like a long process of relationship before deciding for us to be blessed. So it blossomed gradually and like a symphony building to its crescendo. So in order for me to really keep my purity, of course, with the help of the education of my parents, but in this case, as a proud student of Sunwa International, this is my topic already. So this is the case study that I wanted to share, which has been a big part of my training and how to keep my purity and understanding why I need to wait in order to um experience true love and not just give um my purity to anyone else, but to only give it to my husband. So Sunwa International School. Yeah, and as a proud graduate of Sunwa International School, I stand before you to share the remarkable ethos and values that have shaped not only my educational journey, but also the very fabric of our institution. So, the Sunwa was founded in 2002. Sunwa International School stands as a beacon of academic excellence and, more importantly, a bastion of moral values. Our alma mater isn't just a school, it's a nurturing ground where universal principle education isn't merely a concept, but a lived experience. This was founded by our true father, our true parents. One of the most profound aspects of our school's ethos is the unwavering commitment to cultivating a culture of moral values. It's not just rhetoric, it's embedded in the very essence of our education. This commitment resonates deeply in our alumni. as witnessed by the absence of teenage pregnancy. So, since our school was established, there was no case of teenage pregnancy and no sexual disease case in Sunway International School in Antipolo, Rizal in the Philippines. So this commitment resonates deeply in our alumni as witnessed by the absence of teenage pregnancy and sexual diseases among us, a testament to the impact of our moral upbringing. Our school takes pride in imparting universal principle education, not only to students, but also to its esteemed staff. So it's not just the students, but also the teachers and the staff as well. So this holistic approach ensures that our teachers are not just educators, but mentors who guide us through both academic and moral dilemmas, shaping us into responsible individuals capable of contributing positively to society. Moreover, Sunwa International School upholds the sanctity of marriage, fostering an environment where our parents, not just us, but our parents, undergo marriage rededication, exemplifying the value of commitment and unity within families. So this practice instills in us the importance of strong family foundations, a cornerstone of our moral upbringing. So the school's policy. So we have this school's policy of no boyfriend and no girlfriend since we were kids, since it's a private school. So one of the very strict rules in our school, which is the Sunwa International Academy, is no boyfriend, no girlfriend. So it may seem strict to some, but it stands as a shield protecting our purity. This policy isn't about suppression. It's about safeguarding our emotional well-being, and fostering an environment conducive to personal growth and development. It teaches us to value friendships, respect boundaries, and focus on our academic pursuits, preparing us for a future where emotional maturity is as crucial as academic achievement. So, as an alumni, I stand here not just a witness to these values, but as a product of this nurturing environment. Sunwa International School doesn't just shape minds, it molds characters, instilling in us the moral compass needed to navigate life's complexities with integrity, compassion, and strength. So, in closing, I express my deepest gratitude to our alma mater, to Sunwa International School, to our true parents who founded this school, and for cultivating an environment where moral values thrive, for imparting wisdom beyond textbooks, and for empowering us to embrace a life guided by principles. So may this legacy or this situation here in Sunwa International School can be adopted also in the schools in America. And so hopefully not just in school but in the families as well can be practiced in ourselves as well. So it's really a good environment in shaping our future when our elders, our teachers, our parents also knows the value of purity and true love. So that is what I learned from being a student and also studying the case of our school, which is the Sunwa International Academy. So may the legacy of Sunwa International School continue to illuminate the paths of future generations. So thank you so much. That's the end.
Thank you very much, Blessie, for that wonderful testimony of pure love education. That's pretty incredible. If we can duplicate that somewhere, that is a big challenge, a huge challenge to duplicate this. It's quite impressive. So now we will continue straight. We'll continue straight to David and Mitsui Wolfenbergers, the Wolfenberger couple. They were blessed in marriage in 1982, and they're proud parents of, count it, not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not six, not 7 children. Wow. They also partnered in operating a crab business for 35 years. Hardworking people, I assure you. 10 years ago, they started the Blessed Marriage Project to help couples create deeper intimacy and better communication. In 2015, they launched High Noon International. At the time, it was called by a different name. It was Pure, what was it again? I can't remember.
Pure Mind.
Pure Mind Online. There you go. But then they realized that PMO meant something else, so they changed the name to address the pornography epidemic throughout the world. Since then, they have made the decision to focus their time and resources towards helping young people to grow their sexual integrity and to help couples create radiant, blessed marriages. So their topic today is why we need a pure love movement. David and Mitsui, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Pierre. Pierre has been with us since the very beginning. He was with us when we started, when we had our original summit, and even before that.
I think you have to go back. You selected the wrong.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. Beautiful. Okay.
Perfect.
Great. Yeah, a movement of pure love, the pure love movement is really absolutely necessary. It promotes healthy sexuality, and it's necessary to preserve family values of love and connection and intimacy. It's also necessary to raise the next generation of young people so they can take responsibility for all the problems of the 21st century that we're having. There's a lot of confusion in the world today. It seems like there's no clear understanding and no clear standard. People seek happiness by following their bodily desires, but often end up disappointed and hurt. It's hard to figure out what's right for any of us, and it's even tougher to stand up for something that we don't fully understand enough to defend. Father Moon coined the term absolute sex, and he did this to give us clarity about God's absolute standard for sexuality. He taught us that when a married couple, when a couple marries, each husband and wife give ownership of their sexual organ to their spouse. And once he receives the ownership of his wife's sexual organ, then he honors this new treasure. And he's asked to delay his own gratification in order to please his wife first. The same true for the wife. She is asked she was given the responsibility to understand her husband's needs, and they each devote themselves to fulfilling the happiness of the other. In the book Core of the Universe, published by High Noon, we call this Heaven's Gift Exchange. And this voluntary exchange of sexual organs between husband and wife is the foundation for an eternal relationship of true love. God created only 2 categories of human beings, men and women. There aren't dozens of different genders. It's only through the experience of 2 becoming one in marriage that we can experience God, as Dr. Kittel alluded to. The highest expression of marriage that's when every cell of a man and a woman's body is jumping up and yelling, "Manse!" That's when the 2 are making love in a completely selfless way. That's the way that God created us to be. Men and women are each complete. They're each incomplete until their 2 lives come together as one. When a husband and wife support, love, and encourage each other, and when they engage in sex often, they become so much more powerful than they were as individuals. They can digest even the most difficult circumstances, and they can live extraordinary lives. God's design for sex is a beautiful and unique dimension of our lives, where husband and wife become one. And married couples who practice healthy sex, they can more easily recharge, they can heal their differences. And even though the challenges don't disappear, we've still got difficulties in our life. Life is less overwhelming when a married couple develops their conjugal relationship through lovemaking. Their faith and gratitude in God's ideal for marriage grow, and they prosper in every area of their lives. Their emotional security, health, and well-being improve. This lifestyle enables a couple to develop and become role models of sexual morality that affect their family, their community, and eventually the whole world around them. Reversing the trend of immorality is daunting, and it may seem even impossible. Definitely, evil spreads more quickly and easily than goodness. However, when evil becomes so extreme that it can't be tolerated anymore, then when people say enough is enough, and continuing to go down the same pathway is not an option, then that is when things can change. And that's where I believe that we are, where the world is at currently right now. When enough people begin moving in the same direction, momentum is created, and soon they go beyond the tipping point. Reverend Moon was very concerned about sexual immorality and about pornography. In a pivotal speech he gave to the world leaders in the early 90s, Reverend Moon stated that when a country fails to curb immorality, it leads to the breakdown of families. And of course, families are the building blocks for a healthy society. And eventually, the entire world will come to ruin. The only way to prevent this is to strengthen the moral fiber of societies. Reverend Moon appealed to these leaders to guide their citizens to create healthy marriages and to practice sexuality in accordance with God's eternal, absolute standard for true love. God-centered families who practice an unchanging standard of heavenly sexuality contribute to prosperous nations and eventually to a peaceful world. The only way to defeat the global pandemic of immorality is to go back and to teach their people in their own countries to promote and educate absolute sexual ethics. Father Moon encouraged leaders to imagine a world in which absolute sexual ethics were the norm. And he asked them, what would the world look like in the future if it values the sexual organs? Imagine a world whose citizens embrace absolute purity before marriage, and they practice God's absolute standard for sex after marriage. Imagine a world with strong family values where marriages are constantly renewed through loving sexual relations between husband and wife. And then this tradition is passed down from generation to generation. Reverend Moon was a deeply spiritual man, and he was concerned about current world problems. But he also wanted to envision what the world would look like in 100 years from now, or even 1,000 years from now. There's not any leaders who imagine that kind of future. Only these model families can become the foundation for a peaceful world. Furthermore, husbands and wives will prosper when they affirm that their sexual organ belongs to their spouse. When each couple lives according to the principle of God's absolute standard for sex, with gratitude and service to their spouse, they will create harmony in the family and a lineage of purity. Parents cannot depend on the school system for sex education. You parents, any parents out there, you cannot depend on the school system for sex education. Instead, we must take responsibility to have open, ongoing conversations about the sacred value of sex. These conversations become precious, unforgettable memories, and they help the children to establish a clear vision for their future. So we can't just repeat all the no's of the past. We need to help our children to create a clear vision for their future. Children may still be exposed to pornography or discover masturbation, but they'll be more likely to talk about it with their parents. And that can help them to prevent them to create destructive habits. Children can overcome their fears by confiding in their parents about their mistakes and receive grace. And as more and more families live like this, then we can together resolve the world's problems. Although it's important to be disciplined in all areas of our life, sex is really the most important. When we're able to live our lives with sexual integrity, we can share pure, selfless love with our spouse, and we can raise a family that understands and lives with integrity in every area of our lives. Often in history, things have needed to get worse before they got better. And today's internet pornography has brought about a world, it's brought about a new low in the world in which children as young as 7 years old are commonly exposed to very explicit and vile pornographic images. Although practicing absolute sex is not easy for any of us, it challenges all of us. It has become painfully clear that this is the only hope for healthy families and for a healthy society. None of us can change the free sex culture by ourselves. But I do believe that as each of us model a pure love lifestyle, we are creating a ripple effect that'll spread throughout the whole community, and it can spread beyond. True Father, Father Moon, called us to create a pure love movement. He said that the heart that respects pure love is the heart that values all humanity and can meet with God. Today, a modern pure love movement is absolutely necessary to counter the pandemic of false sex that's been spread around the globe. Internet pornography portrays a very distorted and often violent view of sex, which is confusing the world's youth and is ensnaring millions of people in compulsive, destructive behaviors. High Noon was formed 8 years ago to address the global pornography pandemic. Our goal is to become a world-class organization, which is the best source of education for God's standard for sexuality for both single people and for couples. We've been educating people about the harmful effects of porn and providing support for people who have acquired bad habits. We help people of all ages, both men and women, to grow their sexual integrity. We provide programs for couples to help them create deeper intimacy. And we help parents to teach healthy sexuality to their children and to start these conversations. We're seeing a level of authenticity that we never could have imagined. Single people and couples throughout the world have been inspired by what we share about God's beautiful ideal for sex. Men and women of all ages have found the courage to share openly and honestly about their challenges and to seek the support they need. However, more than what we've accomplished, we're inspired by the initiative taken by others to respond to High Noon's work. We've witnessed a ripple effect. We often hear about people whose lives have been changed because somebody who attended one of our events reached out to them and asked them how they were doing with their sexual integrity. We get emails from people we don't even know, living in countries we've never been to. Sometimes they live in places we've never heard of, who tell us that they formed their own accountability groups to support each other, to quit porn, and to create happy marriages. And students have organized events on college campuses around the topic of sexual integrity. And so this ripple effect goes way beyond High Noon's immediate reach. Reverend and Mrs. Moon had a motto. Reverend Moon's motto was, "Before I seek to master the universe, I must first master myself. And Mother Moon, her motto is peace starts with me. We can all become part of this pure love movement by growing our sexual integrity and building strong marriages that can become the cornerstone of a new era. So thank you for allowing us to share.
Thank you very much, David Wolfenberger, which is, of course, is David and Mitsui. You wouldn't be who you are without her, obviously. But your teaching is based on your relationship with your wife, which you exemplify so well. I know because I've been involved with Hainun. And now we're going to bring in all the panelists for a little end of session Q&A. The first question has been addressed by an anonymous participant to Robert Kittel. Don't worry, even though it's anonymous, it won't hurt. It appears that the Philippine government participates in and is more proactive in addressing the issue of teenage pregnancy than the United States. How can we get the American government to get more involved?
Question. I think you have to build a foundation of, your own kind of individual accomplishments, the networking that you do, the model that David and Mitsui are expressing, and how long does it take to build that High Noon Foundation? It's decades and quite a big financial investment. So I think the question is not a simple answer. It's a question you have to kind of ask yourself, how much are you willing to sacrifice and invest and, make this as your priority? And then I think doors will start to open. That would be my answer. Here in the Philippines, there is controversy still. I mean, of course, but we are, we're working with the people that really, if we meet with people and have time to educate them, then they can understand more clearly what we're doing. So it takes time to invest individually. And then those people have networks and they've got organizations. And then you build a track record. And then with that track record of your accomplishments and the support team that you have, the sponsors, then doors will open for you and it will get big, higher and better.
Thank you. And actually, there was a comment I wanted to make at the end of David's presentation, which is, even though without wanting to offend my parents, I wish that I had parents like David and Mitsui, because the key is really to be able to have ongoing open discussions, as he brought up in his presentation. As good as the government policies can be, nothing can replace parents that can have healthy conversations. The
Good
second
point.
question is for the Wolfenbergers. How do you combat the internet porn situation with children and young adults having so much access to it? It almost seems like it's totally unregulated.
Yes, it is totally unregulated. Pierre, you have done a great job in Canada leading age verification, which is something that that we're hoping that America can do. Yeah, I think getting the government involved and is great. I think helping young people to navigate this hypersexualized world is absolutely important. I think as first generation and as parents, it's easy for us to minimize our children's challenges in the area of pornography. When they have pornography that is so accessible on their devices, they really need to have conversations with their parents. Young adults who would like to quit pornography habits, it's important for somebody to talk to them and to ask them how they're doing, to offer to become their accountability partner, High Noon definitely has many resources on our website to support young people who want to quit. And just following up, Dr. Kittel, on your answer to getting the country involved, I really believe that when our community can develop our sexual integrity, and we can become families with sexual integrity and raise children who can talk about sex more freely than other children, who can talk about healthy sexuality, and who have been successful in navigating internet pornography and in sidestepping that and not getting caught up in it. When we can become that kind of community, I believe that we can really have a strong voice in what happens in our countries. And we can become really the beginning of that movement that can change the whole society.
Thank you very much, David. So one last question before we go to closing comments to Blessie, Belle, Ramos. It's coming from Glenda Lambert, who is an educator, as you are. So she asked, what is the first step I can take to help my college students?
That's the question, but to help my college students.
What is the first step as an educator that an educator can take to help her college students?
As an educator myself, you should think as the second parent of your students. Even though they're already college students, they're already adults. Most of them are adults already. Most of the college students also have cases where they already have their boyfriends and girlfriends. So it's better to know their limitations, to always remind them of their limitations in entering their relationship, in entering a relationship. We always been educated where humans always have this freedom compared to animals and other creatures. But the difference is that humans have freedom, but we should not abuse our freedom. Our freedom should have responsibility. So every as an educator, as a teacher, we have to emphasize and teach our students their responsibility in their freedom, so that they will not abuse their freedom as a young person. So now, in this generation, we have this YOLO, you only live once, where we do a lot of extreme stuff, which is very nice to experience this excitement and happiness, but then we have to know our limitations as well. We should not abuse our freedom. So I guess my how to say, my opinion or my advice is that always remind them of their responsibility in their freedom, in their everyday decisions as an adult, as a college student. So yes, that will be all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Blessie. I learned a new word, YOLO. I never heard that before. Well, I might have heard it, but I didn't know what it meant. So now we're going to go to our concluding remarks, because before we end the official part of the program, which is streaming live on the internet, I don't know how many hundreds of people will see this message. So this is a very significant event to end the year of 2023 and look forward to a better 2024. So I will go in order, reverse order from the speeches. So the last speaker was David and Mitsui Wolfenberger. Please, can you give your closing remarks? And I want to hear Mitsui's voice too in the concluding remarks.
I think we should hear only from Mitsui.
In this closing?
Yes.
Closing remark.
I always think to Father's word that we have to create the pure love movement, and we are the only one who can do it.
Mm-hmm.
That means we are the Unification Church movement with the teaching of true parents, the only one who can do it. So we have to really understand what true parents are talking about, and create in our movement. And the Father gave us blessing and bless the couple, bless the family. we are the one like the foundation and base, and then they go to the community, the Unification Church community, I mean. And then our community is the one that people feel, oh, they are different. There's something different about this community, blessed families. Then that is the natural witnessing. I think that's what we should do. Help the blessed children, second gen, third gen, fourth would come. So, and then blessed families, blessed couples, everybody, blessed people need to live blessed life.
A Jew.
So this is a beautiful concluding work from David and Mitsui Wolfenberger, because where Mitsui is, David is, and where David is, Mitsui is. And for those who are UPF friends, we call our founder, the founder of UPF is referred to as a parent, just like Blessie Belle Ramos said, an education should be a second parent. So that's a bit the context of this comment. And so now I'd like to ask Blessie Belle Ramos to give her concluding remarks.
Again, thank you so much for this opportunity, where I'm very much humbled to be given this opportunity as the young generation. So in this opportunity, I would like to really express how younger generations have a lot to say in this journey or situations in the world. So it's really nice now a younger generation can understand the situations of the community, so that in the next generation there will be they can solve problems more better, because they can understand the problem already, so they would know the situation or the solution. So as a younger generation, as a person who is very much open-minded or has a lot of rooms for education, it's better for the foundation to really be educated, um, in order that when in the future, when we start family, we will not hurt or traumatize our children in the future, because we are already educated. As in the church, we try to become ideal parents. So um, as young as elementary or grade school, it's really nice to impart the education of our true parents in regards with waiting for the right time, and also realizing what true love is and not false love. So that would be all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Ramos. So you are full of wisdom and energy. It's 4:07 a.m. in the Philippines right now, and I think you won't go to bed. You're too energized, probably. So now we will ask Dr. Robert Kittel to give the final concluding remarks.
First of all, thank you, Pierre, for initiating this and for hosting and being the MC moderator for this. You did an excellent job. I learned from you the very first quote that you gave at the beginning, and I asked you for that even in the chat group. I thought, really, I've learned something on that. Thank you. Thank you for Blessie, for your testimony, for the sacrifice to prepare and to share with us. I think I learned from you that your honesty, where you talked about it was a struggle, that when you're under this school system, that, it was not easy. And that's true. Thank you for that honesty. But at the same time, you expressed gratitude, and that the positive side, it was protective and it was help nurturing, so you could focus on really the academics in school instead of the on again, off again emotional roller coaster that boyfriend, girlfriends carry with it. And thank you, David and Mitsui, for your really huge investment into High Noon and the success that you have. I would agree with you completely when you are advising the parents, don't trust the schools for sex education. This is really solid advice. I mean, we can see that easily, but that's really important. And then that the parents become involved, communicate with, and learn this is really critically important, is that communication between the parent and child. Thank you for initiating that and sharing that with us today. So that's all. Thank you. It was a wonderful seminar.
Thank you very much, everyone. For those in the Zoom, you can stay for a little longer, but we will now end the live stream. Thank you very much to our tech EJ Rapada. So I don't know if he's there to end the stream because I cannot do it myself. Are you there, EJ? Is this ending? Okay. I think, well, we'll just continue and he can edit the video later, I suppose. So let's open up the floor to a live Q&A now.